morning, world. It's about 7:22 a.m. server time. You are now listening to The Pharaoh on Conquest of the Horde. Welcome to the takeover. I think I'm gonna call this right here Coth Cast 3.0. Now, if you don't know what or aren't familiar with Cothcast, it's basically a broadcast about a lot of the information and things available on the server to keep people up to date, if you will. Not a lot of people really frequent the forums as much as I was aware of. There's mostly the TL, what's that, semicolon DR. Y'all ain't trying to read. Yeah, we got it. I'll keep this PG-13 credit, I promise, for the most part. So, basically, a couple things that we do know that's going on is got a couple of new zones that the GMs are opening up. Got to give them props for that. We got Hearth Glen, that's in Western Plaguelands. We got Dawn Star, never saw him. And we got the Catacombs, which I'm not sure how many people are really aware that the Catacombs lightweight got retrofitted, and it's got some really great detail and interiors in that. And we always talk about Evil RP, and I know that there was a thread on the forums. I forget who started it, but it was basically saying that usually when you create a villain, you create a villain to lose. And I understand that, but at the same time, I kind of disagree with that. And the reason that I do is because I think that a villain could tell a story just as dynamic and as well as a hero. Most of the times, we like our villains more than our heroes. Wish our villains would win, but because story mechanics, they don't. Now, I think that, as I believe it was Wrigley that was talking about, usually when you have a well thought out villain, their motivation is just to them. You know what I mean? So if you have a villain that, I don't know, has a good enough reason to be evil, then I think that there's a logical way for them to succeed and not have everybody try to kill them all the time. What you think about that? First off, before I get killed by lore people, Dawnstar is on the Isle of Keldanas. Before I continue, and if I continue past this post, I would just like to let everybody know off the top, I'm about to say somebody's name wrong, as well as it's a forum name, a character name, or a lore name. Don't get mad. A lot of consonants that shouldn't be next to each other, hard to pronounce. Let's keep it moving. So, we got a lot of GMs out there that are trying to move storylines along. I think these are things that we should support. You know, big thing that I'm for is trying to web RP. So, you got imagination with the love exchange. Had the whole love in the air event all week. Had a lot of different characters coming together, and that's just what she was talking about in that thread that she enjoyed holding the event. And there was a lot of people in Thousand Needles in the daytime and night. She held two events for different time zones, and people showed up, had a good time, great feedback, and I think that was a good way. She even said to RP with people that she hadn't before. I think that that's just should be one of the things that we're more conscientious of trying to do. Another storyline, we got Wrigley and Krillari with the Argent Crusade. They had a big crusade over the Western Plaguelands, fighting a lot of the Scourge. Had some great summoning puppets, smooth combat, very enjoyable, nice plot to it, and it finally cultivated into Hearthglen. Now they got a city or a town, and they tricked it all out with a lot of cool interiors. Got a mage tower, a inn, some stables, a couple of houses you can live in. I mean, that's all we're really asking for as players or things like this to be creative on, and they have it. Now they have a storyline with it. You can join a school where you can learn, don't quote me, but I want to say arcane, druid, nature stuff, you know what I mean? Warriors, way of the sword, way of the bow, so a lot of different classes can get in there. And then also they have a council. I'm not sure if they filled all the positions yet, but I know that they had a council over the city to do whatever. So it's a lot of interesting opportunities for a lot of different characters to go in there. Then you got Ansky with the mother sucking Rumble in the Jungle. I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen this. I know quite a few of you have. But if you're unaware, the Rumble in the Jungle is going to be a unarmed fisticuff battle on February 26th, 2 p.m. server time. You guys should check that out. It's a lot of good stuff. There's a poster up there. The stuff that you're allergic to crack me up. Dirt's one of them. Don't go up there if you don't like dirt. So probably won't be a lot of elves up there, but I bet you they will be anyway. Moving on to players, we got dang, Sachiko Maeda and McNider with they had a wedding for Salor and Lord Leiron Silverfang. I think that was a good event that they had. They kind of switched it up with there's some kidnapping going on. I know that there's another person that's kidnapped by possibly the same individual, and I know that they got a little storyline thing going on. So I think that if you're out there in the server and you're really kind of looking for something to get into, maybe try out some of these ideas. Uh, talk to one of their names that I'm not gonna retry to pronounce. I could say McNider though. Corzilla, she's got Annabelle. I know she's kind of in the middle of this, or in a way, some kind of link to it. So if you know any of these characters, maybe there's a way to incorporate your own storyline, ask a question, get also involved. Have the Briarthorn Foundation. That's by Clovis. Now, the Briarthorn Foundation is an out of character name, but it's supposed to be a union of a group of people led by, to my knowledge, Clovis anonymously, and they're trying to find a cure for undeath. And it's a way to get your mages, alchemists, engineers, or anybody who really has a strong distaste for the undead to come together and try to make a cure for it. Maybe they got a relative that is undead, Death Knight. I have a couple of elves that would be able to fit in that, but Human Alliance thing. Moving on to the statistics. This is something that I didn't know that the server had, and when I found out, I thought it was hilarious. I mean, and it's at the same time oddly interesting, but we'll just go through it just for the sake. Now, before I continue, I wanna say that the reason why I'm doing this part is because if you're new to the server or coming back to the server and you kind of just want to hop into some RP and getting the story moving, but you don't really have the time or the want to really lead your own, there's a couple of guilds that are pretty active that you should be aware of. First up, number one says total 50 members, Black Harvest. The Black Harvest, first of all, is incredible. If you haven't seen the guild post by Saul, you should definitely go check it out. But the thing is it's a Forsaken guild. That's good to see. It's great to see Jared Richter leading it as well. A very old Coth character, uh, obviously coming back stronger than ever. It's good to see Forsaken RP actually start because it's been pretty scarce for the longest, and now it's actually the largest on the server. So got to give it up to Jared. They're moving. I believe they're what's it? A subsect of the cult of the Forgotten Shadow, and they're just really, I believe, kind of like Forsaken nationalists. So there's a lot of great opportunity there. Number two, we have the Blades of Silverfang, led by Sachiko. Guild leader Leiron, they got 45. They're a militant guild by a leader. They're kind of on the uprise to put their noble house on the map once again. Um, Two leaders. I think the other Rubera by the same name on the forums, if that's how you even say it. And they're two that I mentioned before are Sachiko and McNider. Had the wedding, and there's a interesting storyline going with that. I don't want to give any spoilers. I hate spoilers myself, so if you're very interested in some kind of nice drama, suspense, and a lot of fun as well, you should really check that out. Number three with 36 is the House of Blackstone. It's led by Tavern at the moment. This is a storyline that I gotta be honest, I'm extremely intrigued to, but at the same time ignorant to. I know Eros, his character, I was assuming the leader at one point, and I think murdered or something happened. I'm not sure if he died or was resurrected. I know he got retconned as well, but they're pretty big, strong, noble house for the human side on the alliance. Obviously, the largest. If you check the family tree, it's pretty much them. You know what I mean? Bison's there. There's a couple of other noble families. It's interesting. I like what they were doing. They came to the banquet, and Sholazar was well represented, and a lot of good RPers in that group. If you like a Alliance RP. Next is the Argent Crusade, led by Krillari. We just talked about it. They got 33. The Argent Crusade is gonna also be used for the school in Hearthglen. That he says if enough people get there, they might make a subsect guild. But for the most part, the teachers, the instructors, and the students will be in the same guild. And I mean, there's just a lot of potential to go there. I mean, the Argent Crusade's an awesome guild. They got a lot of good stories where they can travel from there. You know, they had some Northrend events as well. And I just like how people are actually going forward with these kind of things, ways to get actually some World of Warcraft RP. Number five, Whitehall. This is also something that I'm intrigued but ignorant to. And I think it's mainly because both of these guilds, House Blackstone, Whitehall, are Alliance faction, which I have some Alliance characters, trying some storylines to broaden my horizons, but Alliance kind of really misses on me. But the Whitehall actually seems pretty cool. I looked it up. I guess originally was by Delta, but because some in real life problems, switched it over to Zarquan, which is a excellent choice because Zarquan is a beast. If you guys haven't RP'd with Zarquan, Zarquan has great attention to detail, nice characterization, and just a really captivating person to RP with. I know this person has quite a few characters. I've only RP'd with two actually, but one time, the first time I met Zarquan was in Regan's Tower, and one of the characters that this person had just had me like, man, who is this? You know what I mean? Out of the blue, I had to find out. So I would definitely check up Whitehall if you guys are for the Alliance RP. Now we got it's Conquest of the Horde. Let's be real, ladies and gentlemen. We got Horde versus Alliance. Now I'm not gonna be biased, but I'm pro Horde. So let's just keep it moving. Last 24 hours, we had more Horde characters with 51.3%. It's great to see. 48 hours, more Horde. Good stuff. Last 7 days, Horde again, back on top. Conquest of the Horde. They say that total players are Alliance, but a 52.2%. We need to work on that. We need more orcs. We can't carry this server with elves. Alright. They say that the characters that share the race, class, and level, the most common character on this server, which I have, I think, two or three, is a human warrior between the levels of 1 and 9. I mean, it is what it is. There's actually more humans than there are blood elves. So we can squash that right now. We got 825 to 676. I mean, still a lot. The closest after that are night elves. We had 323. So, you know, we could use some more dwarf love, some more Tauren love, gnome love. But I think caravans got that down. Another reason that I'm even going through these statistics is not to alienate anybody who has one of these categories or one of their mains or one of these categories. It's, I guess, everybody says they want to roll a special snowflake or however you want to describe it instead of trying to do it with a lot of these characters that are already well represented. It would be more beneficial and maybe surprising to yourself to roll one of these characters that aren't represented, or these races that aren't represented that well. Um, by class, we got the lowest are druids and shaman, which is obvious just because, to my knowledge, they don't really have a lot of races that you can use with them. Um, Top three are warrior, rogue, and mage. I think that's just pretty much because they're the best to use as far as RP is concerned. Warriors are extremely versatile with everything that they can put on and wield. Rogues have a lot of cool in-game abilities. I don't know really most of them, and I've enjoyed playing a mage. I like a lot of the spells that you can cast, and they have visual effects. It's a good way to, um, I guess, have a visual to your RP. Maybe uh, captivate a couple of others you're RPing with. It's always interesting to do things like that. Um, Flipping over to GM suggestions. This would be firstly for the GMs. If anybody likes this little Coth cast and wants to have their own, I'm usually just looking through the thread anyway. So Furnace or Fenris Isle. I mean, I really hope you guys consider this one. This also was put up there. It's a hilarious post by Saul, and it's just a lot of truth. It's a good area. Grakor used it in the Skin Thieves event. And I mean, it was good in tier. It's got a lot of village. It's got kind of like a couple of houses on the side.